Yo, what's going on, yo? Welcome in. Welcome in. It is a brand new episode of Snaps. I am T-Bob Hebert. He's Aaron Murray. Glad to have Aaron back after we missed him last night. Did an excellent job calling.
You didn't watch the damn game. Just shut up. Just shut up. Just shut up.
Illinois and Buffalo. Shit, we just talked about this. Who was it?
Northern Illinois versus Western Michigan.
Yes.
Action.
Just a tale as old as time. Northern Illinois, Michigan. You did a great job, Aaron. I thought you sounded great.
Thanks.
While you were doing that, we did a little Snaps live stream reacting to the playoffs. And so we got our game previews that we're going to get into today. We're going to talk Georgia, Tennessee, Washington, Oregon State, UNC, Clemson, and Texas, Iowa State. Side note, I am so sick of cupcake games, the second to last game of the season. It should be illegal. It is a high crime. The SEC slate is hot garbage this weekend out of Georgia, Tennessee, and it infuriates me. And I blame Mark Stoops. I also blame ESPN for not wanting to pay for a ninth SEC game. But this is Mark Stoops and company and everybody else trying to get bowl eligible, trying to keep their jobs. I fucking hate it. It's ridiculous. Like cupcake games at the beginning of the season, sure, we're tuning up. At that point, we're so thirsty for football that we'll take anything we can get at this point.
So you're fine with the Michigan route of like 4 cupcake games to start the season and then going conference the rest of the way.
No. I would eliminate cupcake games altogether. I would go all P5 on P5 and make that a rule that you have to do. But what I'm saying is I at least find the beginning of the season to be palatable. Like whatever, I can deal with them. When it's turkey season and Thanksgiving's in the air and Christmas around the corner, and we're talking about Heisman's and we're talking about conference championships, having to watch LSU versus Georgia State at 7 p.m. literally gets my blood boiling. And then LSU A&M's at 11 a.m.
Right. You know who wasn't afraid to schedule big boy games? The team that everyone said had such an easy schedule. But guess what? They scheduled Tennessee this weekend. So there you go.
Schedule shit, Aaron. You got this game thrust upon you. What do you mean?
If you want good football, you can just watch Georgia versus Tennessee, number 1 team in the country. There you go. Stop.
Yeah, except Georgia is the number 1 Tennessee team in the country, and Tennessee's not that good. And Georgia's going to smash them. But Aaron, okay, before we get into this, though, the point of all of this is that you didn't get to be on last night's reaction show. So I'll allow you the floor to how did you feel? Your Georgia Bulldogs breaking through the glass ceiling and finally being ranked number 1 in the country.
It made sense. I think everyone kind of knew that once Georgia got through that 2-week stretch that this was going to be, if they took care of business, they would jump Ohio State because they would have the 2 resume games. And it did help that Missouri looked so good versus Tennessee. So that win 2 weeks ago continues to look pretty good for the Dogs. So it makes sense. They passed the eye test. Now they get the resume. You like them at 1. You and I talked about it. Does Michigan jump since they have a similar win versus Penn State? Plus they've kind of had the eye test. I guess not, but those teams will face each other in a week from now, so it doesn't really matter. So I like it. I know some people are kind of upset about Missouri in the top 10. You and I had them at – did we have them at 9 in our poll too?
We had them at 9. We jumped over them at 9. I think we agreed with their 6, 7, 8 as well, though. It feels bad, but Texas is playing so much sketchy football. I mean, no. Here's what I'd say. If we could do 6, 7, 8, if we could redo it, I would do Texas 6, Alabama 7, Oregon 8. Just because I don't think Oregon looks really good, but Oregon really hasn't played anybody. Like Oregon played Utah, a flawed Utah team, and that's what they're getting so much love for. Like at least Texas may be winning sketchy, but they're still winning, and their opponents all have a great win-loss record combined. Like Alabama lost to Texas. That's I'm keeping behind them, but we know they feel very strong. So that's the only thing I'd change from our Snaps top 10. But we nailed the Mizzou thing.
Yeah, no, we did nail the Mizzou thing. Tennessee at 18, I don't love that. I mean, Tennessee's big win this year is Kentucky. And I think this will be the last week they'll probably be in the top 25. They lose versus Georgia this weekend. They'll be out of it, but still, like I know there's a lot of anti-SEC people saying that they're just in there to make Georgia's resume look better. Georgia's resume doesn't need any help. Georgia doesn't need help. So like, it just makes me laugh. Like, what does the defending back-to-back national champs, who's undefeated, who has 2 wins, nice wins on the schedule right now, like what help do they truly need right now? They don't. So I think
No.
garbage. It just they shouldn't be there just because they shouldn't be there. It's not to help Georgia look any better after this weekend.
Oh God, I thought my stream shut down. Just my YouTube stream. Are we still streaming on YouTube? Can I get confirmation? Something just went crazy on my computer.
We look good on YouTube on my end.
Okay, perfect. All right. I wanted to get to real quick, continue to let some people get in here just for a minute, get to the super chat as I reset up these windows. Sorry, y'all, my YouTube just crashed. Here we go. Shout out my guy Jav Solo. Loved your Friday show, T-Bob. So much nostalgia from the N64 Xbox 360 era. Looking forward to more. Look, I'm excited as well. We're looking forward to having more videos and stuff as well to react to, talk about. Biggest letdown of 2023, LSU defense or Starfield? The LSU defense, without a doubt. Now, granted, I haven't played Starfield. I'm very cognizant of the commentary surrounding Starfield, and while I understand that how Starfield feels like a disappointment because it doesn't really give you that feeling of the exploration of space, according to what I've heard, it's still not a disaster. The LSU defense is an abject disaster that held you back from your goals. Whereas Starfield, regardless of what you think qualitatively, is still a big financial success. T-Bob, can LSU cover the 31.5? I don't bet cupcake games. I don't know. I just no fun to be had.
I do want to get to 2 in the chat because I do have some news. 2 from Justin A. Any talk about Klatt saying that Michigan now has a better resume than Georgia? Laugh out loud. I think I talked about that on Monday or Tuesday of the show of how that's just so silly. And then also Penn State's better than Missouri, he also said, which very much disagree with that one from what we've seen from Penn State this year. That's just stupid. But the good news is we get to say it to Joel Klatt's face directly here in the next couple of weeks because Joel's agreed to come on the show.
Hey, nice, dude. Hopefully he'll come on Monday or something. Hell yeah.
I was thinking Monday or championship weekend.
Either way.
Figure it out. Either way.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, we got to talk about championship week because I'm going to be in Disney. But I still want to do the show. But we're going to have to figure it out. Maybe some of those old school early morning
T-Bob first. T-Bob plans his baby's birth, the SEC championship weekend. Now this, dude, it's football season. What are we doing?
Yeah, bro, I wanted to go to Disney where the Christmas decorations are up. I want to go to Disney where the Christmas decorations are up. What do you mean?
Wait till after the season. What are you doing at championship weekend? Move it to after.
Well, I'm doing it the Monday. I'm doing that next week after championship weekend.
Okay, yes, after champ. Thank you. You
sorry, no,
like it was championship weekend.
No, in the run up to the games, and I'll be around for the games on Saturday, but on Sunday, my ass is hitting the road and heading to Disney, and I can't wait, dude. Got tickets to Mickey's Christmas party, bruh. Look, I'm trying to maximize my Disney time while I got little ones that love it because I love it.
This is gonna fill in. Let's go.
And I cannot wait to drink those Epcot beers. My God. Dr. Gonzo, just say it, T-Bob. Georgia is 3-peating. Look, we talked about it on last night's show. I feel, before the season, nothing has changed in some ways from before the season where I said, look, they'll run through the schedule, they'll win the FCC, but ultimately they'll lose in the playoffs. I thought that was for sure. I'm not so sure on that anymore. There's a lack of an elite team and a Georgia team that's appreciating massively in value. Like they're getting better and better every week. Carson Beck looks awesome. They look like the most complete team. They've got weapons. They got the best defense. So starting to feel like Georgia might win a third national championship in a row. Maybe. Maybe. Let's not go crazy. Okay. Shut up. But if they're going to, they're going to have to go in and kneel in this weekend and come out with a win, Aaron Murray. Georgia, Tennessee, 2:30, CBS, electric environment. Tennessee wins. How?
So good. So good. Tennessee wins if they do everything that they have not been able to do this entire season when it comes to offensive production.
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes. Can you find a way to create explosive plays through the air? Like that to me is the only way Tennessee can find a way to win. So 2 things. Like one, the fans have to be in it. Georgia and you love to talk about this, so I'll reiterate it. You brought it up all year. Georgia's played one true away game this entire season at
Yeah.
Auburn. Georgia, Florida, neutral site. At Vanderbilt is a home game. That's 90% Georgia fans are. Go back to that Auburn game, kind of close. What Georgia won 27-20, four-quarter battle. I think Georgia's better than they were then. Carson's better. The offense is better. They're healthy. So like it's a different Georgia team, but still like you have not played but one true away game. So can Neyland, which is an absolute bear to play in, you saw it last year.
It is
Dude,
crazy. I played there my senior
it's
year
a tough place
against
to
a
play.
not good Tennessee team, but it was packed and they were loud and you could not hear yourself.
No. So like the Tennessee fans got to show up, which I think they will. Rivalry game, they'll be loud. They'll make it difficult. So like that's one thing that could help your 11 guys on the field. And then two, like I said, like for Tennessee offensively, you have to create explosive plays in the air. Like to think that you're just going to methodically move the ball down the field through the run game. And I know you maybe think like Georgia's weakness is the front seven. It may be a weakness, but it's still stronger than what you have for your offensive line and your running back. So you got to create some explosives, and they haven't been able to do that all year. So unless it just magically happens, I don't think this Tennessee team, which has been stopped by Georgia 2 years in a row, like Kirby Smart's got this offense kind of figured out. I just don't think it's going to magically all of a sudden appear and have a monster game, unfortunately, for the Vols.
Yeah, so somebody said Tennessee's mid at everything. I mean, I disagree with that. I think Tennessee's pretty elite on the lines, right? There's a reason why they lead in elite's a strong word, right? But I think they're damn good on both lines of scrimmage. There's a reason why they were able to jump out to a 20-7 lead over Alabama. There's a reason why they lead in like rushing categories and are either first or second in sacks and TFLs, and it's because they're really good in the trenches. The problem is because of their offensive flaws, most of which emanate out of Joe Milton, even though he's been playing better lately.
Yes.
But because of those flaws, they have trouble beating a better team over a full 60 minutes. And Alabama's the great example of that. And so it's going to be an awesome environment. Certainly last time we saw Georgia in a tough environment, Auburn gave them everything they wanted and then some. And like I said, I love Tennessee in the trenches. I'm a Josh Heupel believer. I think the fact that you're kind of as good as you are without a quarterback speaks very well to the future because he will get great quarterback play again. And so I think Tennessee's in a great spot long term, but this isn't about Tennessee. This is about UGA, and UGA just feels too complete at this point. Yeah. I mean, what is UGA bad at? Like, what are they actually bad at? There's Tennessee, like you could say they're bad at explosive plays. They're slightly bad at quarterback. Georgia, you're going to say, okay, like for instance, people want to say the rush defense, right? Well, let's just look up where they rank in the SEC in rush defense.
Their rush defense is second.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Give up 107 yards.
Well, we have been saying that all. I've been saying it all season. Like people keep saying like this defense is not this, that, the other. It's like, no, they are. They're really damn good. They're just not what they've been.
This defense isn't that good, but they're first in the SEC, giving up 15 points a game.
Yeah, they're second.
And they're first in the SEC in total defense, giving up 289.
First in pass defense, second in rush defense. It's a really talented group. And then you look at the offense too. Yeah, they're too complete. Offensively, there's not a weakness. Offensive line's healthy. The running backs are healthy. We got a little bit. And listen, Ole Miss, we've said it all year. Ole Miss is not a physical football team, and that played out. Played out versus Alabama. It played out versus Georgia. They're going to get bullied around. They're a finesse football team. That was not a good matchup for the Rebels, and Georgia ran away with the football game. Tennessee is more physical in the line of scrimmage on both sides, offensive line, defensive line. It's like that's an area they can match up. Think kind of Missouri 2 weeks ago for Georgia. Why did Missouri make that an interesting ball game? Because they can somewhat match up in the trenches versus Georgia. Yeah. And I think Missouri's a little bit more physical. They showed that last week versus Tennessee. They're the better football team this year. But Tennessee's a good matchup at home. If that defensive line can get off with some crowd noise, maybe create some turnovers, maybe make Carson feel like he's a little rattled in the pocket, something he hasn't been this year, that's another way they can make it interesting.
So I want to be clear, like, I think Georgia maybe pulls away at the end. Tennessee's going to have some moments. Like on
offense or defense?
I guess I didn't think about it. No. Well, I mean, look. I mean, they found some offensive moments early against Alabama. And if you
Yeah,
can do that against Alabama's defense, you can do that against Georgia's defense, especially at home.
especially the first drive.
And
They'll
like,
probably
yeah,
march right down the field.
I could see. I mean, we saw what happened in the Georgia offense in a tough environment. Jordan Hare, they're gonna be battling some of those same things against a better team. So no, like I said, like I think Tennessee. I think now I could also see Georgia blowing them out, but I think Tennessee will have some moments in that first half. But they, like I said, I think it just boils down to the fact there's not enough consistency to keep pace with UGA for 60 minutes because they can't claim a real advantage anywhere on the field. So give me the Bulldogs. What's the spread? Not that we're
10 and a
choosing
half,
that. I'm just
11.
curious.
I think somewhere on that 10.5, 11
Um,
spot.
I'll be interested to ask Colin Wilson tomorrow about that. Here we go. We got Wilk with a $5 super chat. Aaron, will you be charged for assaulting a man on live television? I'm guessing he's referencing your Collinsworth slide in which you shoulder bumped very aggressively your co-host multiple times. How did he feel? Did you tell him you were going to do that?
No, did not. And it was not a slide in.
Wow.
Like I was there. And so what we did was the head coach for Western Michigan we actually went into the locker room to hear his pregame speech. And it was so good that your boy had to felt like I was going to run through a wall.
Hell
And
yeah.
I didn't realize that he had, my partner is my first time working with him, really hasn't been lifting the weights lately, I guess. He kind of just fell over pretty aggressively. I didn't feel like I hit him too hard, but he kind of, my bad.
Wait. The gift that I saw, he just bumped over. You hit him so hard that he fell?
No. He didn't
fell
fell over.
Okay.
He kind of jolted a little easier than I thought he would, though. Yeah.
Okay.
He was
I'm
not ready for it.
I'm just making sure I had it right. T-Bob and Aaron, what are the chances Brock playing this week against the Vols? Well, he already played, right? So he's going to play again. Did I miss
He's
something
playing again
in the news?
No,
Okay, cool.
he's playing.
So UGA wins. Next up, now this is the big one, guys. This is the good stuff right here in Corvallis. Top 10 matchup. The Washington Huskies actually underdogs going on the road to take on the Oregon State Beavers. This is a game that's been played 108 times. This is the first time that both teams are in the top 10. And look, man, it looks very even on paper, right? Washington averages 41 a game. Oregon State averages 38. Washington gives up 23 a game. Oregon State gives up 20. And when you look at Oregon State, I feel like we kind of wrote them off midseason because they had it didn't feel bad at the time losing to Washington State. It hasn't aged great, but that's a weird game. That's in Pullman at night. Cam Ward popped off that night. But remember, they lost that game, and then they lost to Arizona, and we're kind of like, Oregon State, whatever, it's over. All they kept doing was working and combining wins together and beating good teams, and we figured out that Arizona is actually good. And now all of a sudden, Aaron, look at the combined record from the last 2 seasons of these teams. So Washington goes 11-2 last year, beats Texas in a bowl game. Oregon State goes 10-3, smashes Florida. Over the past 2 seasons, you have 21-2 Washington against 18-5 Oregon State. So we are talking about 2 of the best teams in America over a 2-year sample size now doing battle in Corvallis. This is awesome, dude.
Yeah, it's going to be an awesome football game, and it's going to be a really good, I think, quarterback battle. And I don't know if a lot of people would be anticipating that if I would have said that at the beginning of the season. But DJU's playing really well right now. Like I've been really impressed with kind of his command of the offense. He looks better. Still can't throw a spiral consistently, but I went back and watched their last 2 games this morning, and it just fits him. The play action, the setup in the pocket, getting him out on the run a little bit as well. It's a really good offense. I love their running back, Martinez. He's had a great season this year. I really, really like their offensive line. I think it could be somewhat of a shootout because Washington has really struggled defensively. And right now, Oregon State's kind of hitting on all cylinders on that side of the football.
Well, and so I want to ask you something. And for what it's worth, Washington didn't allow any points to Utah in that second half, but I feel you. But when you look at how DJU, like you said, the pathway to him having success at Oregon State, and you look at Washington, obviously any quarterback is helped up by a great running game, right? It makes your job easier to open things up. It feels like Washington, though, if it's not there, is more well-suited to just brute forcing your way through the air with that receiving core with Michael Penix. If Washington stops Damian Martinez, the running back of Oregon State, who's currently second in the conference. He averages 102 yards a game. He's got 7 touchdowns. He averaged 6.6 yards per carry on the ground. If Washington finds a way to stop Martinez, can DJU brute force his way to victory the same way Michael Penix Jr. potentially can?
Not to the same extent. No. He's not Michael Penix. And but that's the difference between
Is
offense.
The key then stopping Oregon State's run, and you'll stop DJU?
But I think but I think the only way you can stop Oregon State's run is if you commit so many bodies into the box where you create unsustainable one-on-ones in the back end. Like Washington's not very good in the back end, like that defense. I mean, the defense in general, they're not good against the run. They're not good against the pass. So I think Oregon State at that point would be able to hit enough explosive plays where, the stat line may not be like a super high when it comes to accuracy, but it could be high when it comes to yards. Think of, kind of what Alabama's done with Jalen Milroe. Not like he's throwing dink and dunks and it may be a couple sacks here or there, but then he's all of a sudden, boom, it's a 67-yard play because there's just that one-on-one play that you take advantage of on the back end. That's what you can get yourself into if you're Washington here. And you sell out to the run to stop it. And then DG gets a couple play action passes, one-on-one hits them, and all of a sudden it's a 67-yard touchdown. So I would be a little bit cautious of just saying this is a one-dimensional offense for the Beavers, and all we have to do is stop the run because you're going to get blown up with some explosives.
So I mean, what do you how do you score this one?
I think it's very even. It's at Oregon State. I think it's going to be a hell of an environment. You brought up the fact that Washington played a good second half last week versus Utah, and they did. But it's still a Utah offense that has been pretty bad all season. So let's pump the brakes here of oh my God, they had one good half when they gave up 28 points in the first half. I think Penix is good enough to drive up and down the field and score. And I like Oregon State's defense. I don't love their defense. Like the only really other game where they faced a complete offense was that Washington State game. And, that's when Washington State was healthy and they kind of went up and down the field on them. True. Colorado, Shedeur had a good game throwing the football, but I mean, Colorado had minus yards rushing. Just, what you're going to get from Colorado. Like that's not a great comparison to what this Washington offense is. So I think Penix and company will have themselves a day. Oregon State's got to be able to run it. They got to be able to slow it down. I think Washington squeaks out a win again. I do. I think the defense will get enough stops versus DJU.
So the interesting thing is that anytime you see kind of a surprising line, like Oregon State being favored here, you have to know or just assume, and we'll talk to Colin Wilson about this tomorrow, but I'm just assuming that there are analytics that are going to lean heavily in Oregon's favor in terms of this matchup.
Oregon State, yeah.
What I say, Oregon State. That said, I'm going to choose not to overthink this one.
Yeah.
Oregon State's a damn good football team, but over the last few years, Washington has been slightly better, and they've been slightly better because of Michael Penix Jr. and this receiving core. And like you said, maybe Oregon State is explosive. Their defense is solid, but statistically the defenses are similar. And at the end of the day, nobody has the weapons and quarterback combination than does Washington. And I still continue to love the Kalen DeBoer factor. Somebody who knows how to win big games. He's proven it a couple times. And I can't separate my bias. I've been a Washington Husky boy since preseason. So I enjoy watching play, like their style of football. So if it's going to be a coin flip, I'll go with the quarterback I trust more, who has the better weapons on the team that I've been supporting from the beginning of the year. So that's my take. I'll take Washington to win as well. I mean, I'm betting the money.
I'll go like this.
It's a bad bet because of how stinky it is, but it's plus 120. I mean, are you kidding me, dude? You're not going to roll plus 120 with the Huskies? Did you ever wear Husky jeans back in the day, Aaron?
Oh yeah. I'll say last point. Definitely not. Last point. Oh. Whenever it's even like this, even matchup, being a quarterback, I lean towards the quarterback position. And for how much better DJU's look this year compared to what he looked like at Clemson, he still is not Michael Penix Jr. So I'll lean with the lefty just for that.
The only thing Penix needs to be a little careful of, you kind of look up and all of a sudden the picks are starting to creep up. 28-7 for him in the touchdown and pick department, 9 yards per attempt. And then 20-4. Actually, I think he's down to 7.7 yards per attempt. And then 20 touchdowns to 4 picks for DJU, 9 yards per attempt. So Give me the Huskies.
Mhm.
Isn't that what y'all do? They bark as well?
Like, howl? Don't Huskies more howl?
Like,
Oh. Yeah, it's not a bark.
okay, sure. I don't think so. I think Washington fans bark at each other as well. All right, so there it is. So far, we like UJ and Washington. Imagine that. You know what else I like? DraftKings. Can you believe that we're this deep in the NFL season? Well, check it out. We got to make every second count. And with the DraftKings Sportsbook app, you can make the most out of every game day. You can bet on your favorite teams for a shot at winning big bucks. And right now, new customers can score $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on any NFL matchup. That's right. Any NFL matchup right now, $5, you get $150 instantly in bonus bets. You want to bet your hometown team, you want to bet away. It's all there for you. And remember, if you're returning customers, always great game day deals and boosts and offers going down on the DraftKings app. And you can always do your multi-game or same-game parlay. So get in on the action with the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. You download the app now. Use the code T-Bob. Okay, if you're a new customer, TBOB, new customers, $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on the NFL. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code T-Bob. The crown is yours. Okay, what time is this Washington Oregon State game on Saturday? Aaron, do you know off the top of your head?
4:30 local time, 7:30
Okay,
Eastern.
I'm just looking at a little weather report. It looks like the
Looks a
rain's
little
supposed to start that
rainy.
night. I'm not seeing it right now. Right now I'm seeing. Oh wait, no, you're right. Yeah, Saturday. Yeah, ooh, cold and rainy. Who's that favorite? Oregon State, probably.
Oregon
Bill
State.
Tuffer, a little run on the ground. Ugh.
Mhm.
Maybe that's why you end up going Washington. All right. Now let's go ahead and talk a little UNC Clemson. Ugh, that kind of tells you what weekend we're getting here in week 12, doesn't it?
Could have been good.
UNC, yeah, for sure. And it's not bad. Like it's not
No.
awful. It's not awful. UNC is still having a really good season at 8-2.
Mhm.
Absolutely gotta have it. Massive win last week at home against Duke, a game that was very low scoring and then just exploded in the fourth quarter and into
Yeah.
the 40s, into an OT. But there's I don't know, Aaron. I know it's like UNC's 8-2. They've had so much positivity behind them all year. Clemson 6-4. They've had so much negativity, but ever since Tyler called up that show, he kind of galvanized Dabo Swinney, kind of galvanized the entire program. And well, since that moment, a couple of big wins for Clemson. Beat Notre Dame and Georgia Tech badly at home. Remember, Georgia Tech, one of the two teams that inexplicably beat UNC. How they lost to Virginia and Georgia Tech in back-to-back weeks, I don't know. It's why I don't trust them. And that, combined with Tyler's galvanization of the Taggers, is why I like. I like Clemson to win this game in Death Valley.
I do too. I like him. I like him. It's at home. It's going to be a great crowd. They got the juices going, as you said, since Tyler called him. Cade's playing better too, Klubnik, and it seems like he's starting to grasp the offense a little bit more. And not saying like this is a similar to the last game where you know it's even. So I'm going to take the better of the two quarterbacks. Like I think Clemson is the better roster. I think Cade is playing good enough. It's in Clemson, and I've said it a few times this year. I feel like, but Drake has just had some just iffy moments for the season where he's just not been the same guy he was last year. Not saying like he's bad, not saying that he's not going to be a top 5, top 10 pick in the NFL draft, but just has not been the same. And
you don't.
Walker's
see him,
been a great addition.
Statistical categories that much anymore.
No, so I think Clemson's just better. And for UNC, where we were praising their defense to start the season of how good the defense was, defense kind of dropped off a little bit as of late as well. So I think Clemson can kind of move the ball on them up and down the field at home.
Yeah, I think. I look. I mean, I don't trust UNC on the road, and Clemson's been a completely different team at home. When you look at the last 2 wins, but also, I mean, they should. And you'd be dangerous with this kind of logic, but they should or could or were very close to beating Florida State at home. They're just a different beast, and they've been a different beast since the Tyler call. Greg Lamont says Tyler's an A+ motivator. Yeah, Tyler really was what's the old Batman saying? He's the hero you need. He's the hero Gotham needed, not the hero they deserved, because they deserve shit. Well, Clemson fans deserve shit, but Tyler was the hero that they needed at the time. And Tyler had to get his favorite coach to hate him in order to save his favorite program. There's actually something beautifully selfless about Tyler calling and making the man who leads his favorite program his enemy selflessly, just so that the entire fan base
the whole thing was
thrive.
planted. The whole thing was planned. It was planned. The more you think about it.
No,
right?
No, it was Tyler's. Yes. No, it was Tyler's sacrificing himself for the greater good.
It was planned. There's no way you give that caller 2 minutes to rant if it wasn't
look,
planned.
Andrew Messer, as a Clemson fan, we will push for a Tyler and Spartanburg statue outside of Death Valley. He saved the entire program.
Or was it the moment that really pushed Dab over the top, where he's going to be the A&M coach next season?
No, but I am loving Dabo kind of.
He did not have a great answer. It was not. Well, it was not the Dan Lanning response that Dan gave when asked about the job.
No, let me hold on. I can even find close. These
because I was listening to a show the early day, and they played both of them back to back. And Dan is pretty much saying, "Hell no, I love Oregon. This is my spot. This is my home. If you don't know what we have, then you obviously don't know. I ain't going anywhere." And Dabo was not very.
No,
he's more like we're focused on winning football games. Is what he said.
I don't have the audio, but here are the here Brandon Zimmerman has a great at BZSEC on Twitter, has a great thread going of where he's ranking coaches' responses to the A&M questions on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being like strong denial, 5 being gig 'em. And he had Dan Lanning scoring at a 1, obviously, right? Put Lane Kiffin at a 4. As Lane said, quote, "I'm not going there again. I should have been prepared for that question. I wasn't, so I'm just not answering that."
Okay. He wants it. If he gets offered, he's gone. There's no doubt.
But they're not going to offer him, at least not according to Billy. Dabo Swin, he said, "I'm just focused on this job. Always have been. Just trying to beat North Carolina. It must be November. That's all I can say." See, to me, though, Dabo would never actually leave. But to me, that is Dabo being like, you know what? Fuck y'all. You like fuck y'all. You want me? Okay, you want me out, Tyler? Well, fuck you. I might flirt a little bit. See if I can wring a little extra money out of this. James Franklin's got a $65 million buyout. Why I don't need $65 million? It's not a money
thing. It is not a money thing. It's I need appreciation. I want some people to start kissing my ass again kind of thing. If he's not,
and you know what kind of ass kissing feels the best? The one that comes from presidents. Like, absolutely.
Big duffel bags of money.
Yeah, I mean, if you're mad at someone, making them give you more money is not a bad way to kind of get back at them a bit. And then Deion Sanders, Deion had the weirdest fucking answer. Yeah. He said, "I tell them my mother's here, my sister's here, my dog's here, my daughter's here, 3 of my sons are here. My other daughter comes to darn near every home game. I get mail here. I pay taxes here. I'm here." It's kind of like, are you just, you're like, what are you saying? You just naming things around the room? This chair I'm in's here. My phone's here, laptop. It's like, okay. It was a little bit like Brick from Anchorman. Whatever. Deion's not going anywhere, obviously. No. Duh. He's not going to leave his kids behind, but we'll see. Also, A&M, I don't think would offer Deion yet.
No,
they still probably want to see where that ceiling is going anyway. Yeah, like Greg says, Deion gets his water there, breathes his air there, his driveway's there, his toilet's there. Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, we still have no idea who's going to be the Texas A&M coach. Before we get into our final game of the day, let's hear from our friends over there at Vaulted. Listen to Papa.
Everybody loves making sports predictions, but there's a new app putting a whole new spin on the game. Check out Vaulted. That's spelled VLTED. Vaulted. It's an app where you can track sports predictions and participate in daily cash prize pools. You can also show off your sports knowledge against your friends, your buddies, by your boldest takes, challenging your friends to see who makes the best picks. You can challenge every week in my weekly Colin Cowherd NFL pool. Do that, win money, real money. All you have to do is answer questions and risk confidence points. VLTED, Vaulted app, Vaulted Challenge. So download the Vaulted app right now, VLTED. The QR code is right there on the screen. Prove you're smarter than your friends and get the Vaulted app today. Really easy and fun to play.
Oh, what's up, y'all? Welcome back. All right. There's no shit, Dion. Why would you pay taxes in a different state? Did you leave all your shit somewhere else? Yeah, exactly. Hey guys, by the way, Aaron. Oh wait, shit, I forgot to lead the show with this, dude. We hit 8K. How about it, dude? 8,000 subscribers. Thanks to the homies. Thank y'all so much. Please hit the like button. Continue to subscribe. Tell your friends. We told you our goal is 10K by the national championship. Now, some of you were nice enough last night to say 10K by Christmas. That'd be awesome.
That'd be great.
But please continue to push, continue to drive. Please send it to your friends if you enjoy it. And yeah, man, hell yeah. Thank you for the road to 8K. The road to 9K starts now. So finally, last game to break down today, or was UNC Clemson last game? No, Texas Iowa State.
Yeah.
We kept Texas Iowa State on the rundown, correct?
We did.
Although we kind of shouldn't, because in many ways Texas is holding on for dear life at this point. Even with Quinn Ewers returning last week, they gave up 20 fourth quarter points to TCU, barely survived that game. They gave up 23 in the second half to K-State a couple weeks ago. Remember when they allowed Houston to go all the way down at the end of the game and nearly tie that game? I'm not going to hate too hard on Texas, but they better be careful fucking around like this, because they might trip up and get burned.
Who's playing too close to the fire right now, in your opinion, more, Washington or Texas?
Washington's still been playing good teams. So it's definitely Texas. Like, it's without a doubt Texas, right? I mean,
I think both of them are just like, both of them are a handful of plays away from Washington having their first loss, Texas having their second loss.
I mean, let me see who's Washington's play. I mean, Washington recently here, I don't know, dude. Washington in the last few weeks has beaten, they beat Oregon. They beat Arizona and Oregon. Then they had a sketchy game against State. They won by 9 against Stanford. Yes, Arizona State was the worst game of the season.
Yeah.
At Stanford, a little sketchy. They still won. But then they beat USC. They beat Utah. So, like, I don't know. 4 of those 6 games are against good opponents.
Yeah, I get it. I'm just saying, like, there's been some games where they've not.
Texas almost lost to Houston. I guess there's no shame.
Houston and TCU. The Houston and TCU, one of the big ones. Like, same thing. They've had 2.
TCU's garbage.
Yeah, they've had 2 though. And I think both games, like, they were dominating both those games. I'm trying to remember the Houston one, but the one this past week, like, they were up like those games that Washington almost lost. Like, they were ball games for 4 quarters. So like, that's a little bit more concerning to me than you just kind of, up by 20 points and you just kind of drifting off to nowhere land in the fourth quarter and the team coming back and making it interesting. Like, that's different than being in a 4-quarter struggle. I don't know if I can offer better or worse in that regard, because I could also just flip the perspective and say that the ability to make plays at the end of the game means more than barely hanging on to a evaporating lead when it matters most. So that's just a matter of semantic perspective, Aaron Murray. True. Whatever you want to
say. Clearly the answer is Texas is barely hanging on more. But we'll give them credit because they went into T-Town and won by double digits. And that's still, one of the best wins of the entire season.
Listen, this is going to be our first game we get to see Texas without Jonathan Brooks, like the star running back who has been just one of the best running backs in that conference this year, torn ACL last weekend. This is an offense that is, it's built to be able to do a little bit of everything. We know the receivers. We know Quinn Ewers is back healthy, but it starts running the football with him. So what does the running game look like for Texas on the road versus a good Iowa State team? But Iowa State also hasn't faced an offense that can throw the ball like Texas since Oklahoma. And Oklahoma just ran up and down the field against them. So I don't know if that 3-3-5 is going to be able to slow down those receivers and Quinn Ewers, but it could be interesting. On the other side, I like Iowa State's quarterback. The Beck kid he's a little feisty, little gunslinger, can make some plays. I just don't think there's a lot of weapons on that side to really create enough explosive. So I think Texas will win this football game. I'm not worried about them. I think Texas wins, Texas covers.
It's interesting because these are the exact type of games that Texas would lose when they've been bad.
We've been saying that all year, though. I think that they've gone over that. We've said that all year.
So continue to prove it. Well, They haven't clearly gotten over it. Now
Yeah, they have. They keep winning.
Yeah, I know. That is fair.
So,
That's fair. That is fair. So, I guess you're right. They would lose these one-score games last year for the most part. They've managed to win them this year, but it's still a little fuckety. I mean, they should beat Iowa State. If they lose, that's really, really bad. They will have blown up all their dreams. But I agree with you. I think Texas wins. I would not trust Texas to cover, though. I am not playing this game whatsoever. Hell no. Is it going to be on your bets? Oh shit, Aaron Murray. I forgot to put in a bet for you yesterday.
I'm glad you did, but don't say anything.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not. I didn't say anything. Chill out. I know. I mean, good looking out, but I know. All right. Mr. Wonder says double digits. It was 10 points. Just say 10 points. Double digits is double talk, Mr. Orwell. You got to make shit sound good, Like if I want to make shit sound like it's been a long time, I don't say 5 years, I say half a decade. Because half a decade just sounds better. That's how this game works, man. And it doesn't matter. I mean, it was 10 points. Yeah. Double digits, which nobody had ever done in T-Town. It's why we still give Texas credit. All right. That'll do it for today's show. Thank you to everyone watching live. Hit the like button, subscribe. We'll have our gambling show dropping. That's going to be recorded, dropping. Yeah, I'm hitting the 1,000 word count. Thank you, Dr. Gonzo. Something I used to do in college, Aaron, too, when you would get paper and not word count stuff. If you went in your margins and if you
always
bump
the
margins from like 1 to like 1.15, somewhere around there, squeeze a little extra out of there, kids. There you go. I'm sure that's all been figured out by now, like 10 times over. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you so much. We'll see you again. Pre-recorded show tomorrow. Gambling with Colin Wilson. He's been on fire, guys. On Friday, I'll have my chill stream where we just talk about anything, life, everything. Maybe watch some funny videos or whatever. We'll see if Aaron can join us or not. That'll be Friday morning. And Saturday, Aaron, are you calling a game Saturday?
I am. I'm off to Starkville. Kind of figure out what the hell's going on there.
What time is that?
11.
Okay, so we should be able to fit a show somewhere in that window because LSU doesn't start till 7. So we'll do some sort of show on Saturday if you can do that, for sure. And then of course we have our Sunday recap shows as well. Why are you giving me that look? Did I miss something? You're looking at me like I missed something.
I'm just looking at the slate of games right now, and there's really not any good.
Like you're saying,
to talk about.
React to. Yeah. I know.
Wait, I'm looking at the noon slate on Saturday. It's Michigan, Maryland, Chattanooga, Alabama, Louisville, Miami, Rutgers, Penn State, UL Monroe, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, BYU. Just not.
Louisville, Miami has playoff implications, if nothing else.
Yeah, we can do that the last show on Sunday if we had to.
I guess it doesn't really have playoff implications.
No,
Louisville. No,
the one loss Louisville will not make the playoffs.
No, I just mean like, I don't know what I meant. I guess I'm just thinking about Louisville, Florida State has playoff implications. So never mind. All right, we love you. Thank you to Pat Guthrie. Thank you to Ryan Brumley, Danny Cardenas, Adam Gracia, Chris Tran. Christian Hunter, y'all the absolute best. And we'll see you tomorrow for some new stats.